Madelyn woke up to a wet bed for the first time in 6 years. Her mind raced and she felt sick to her stomach. Then dancing at the back of her conscious, she felt Professor Yaffle probe her mind. She just sat there like a small child with a parent looking down on her from up high. She wanted to sink into the floor. Her mutant powers easily granted her wish. Madelyn, stop! Professor Yaffle shouted into her mind. Madelyn focused on becoming solid and raised herself back onto the floor beside her bed. Please come up to my study once you have changed. Madelyn removed her wet clothes and stuck on some sweats and a thick jumper which was so long she could have hid inside, which is what she wanted to do. She moved off down the hallway praying that Charlie didn't find out what she had done, as she wouldn't have been able to suffer the embarrassment. Madelyn, come in. Professor Yaffle echoed in her mind as she approached the door of his study. Madelyn didn't even bother opening the door and just walked straight through it and looked her balding mentor in the eyes. I suppose you know what I've done. She glared at him, wishing the embarrassment she was feeling as pain on him. Actually, Madelyn, yes I do, but I sealed off your emotions so Jean wouldn't have been able to pick up on them. Your psychic cries were very loud. Madelyn despised the thought of any sort of crying, especially since she had just wet her bed, but she was grateful that her thoughts had remained her own. Professor Yaffle nodded as if he knew of her approval, which he probably did considering his immense psychic powers. If you agree, Madelyn, I can examine your subconscious and see if your problem is psychological. I don't think it is medical considering your higher than average scores in the danger room. Madelyn nodded, unable to trust herself to speak. Then she felt a slight dancing presence at the back of her mind. It meandered its way through her thoughts until it disappeared from her perception. Then she felt herself tumbling. Her vision swam and her knees let go of all physical strength. She was 2 years old again. She had just been changed and was now wearing her satin yoke dress, the pink one with the white bows. She was 4 and had just come back from nursery. She had been asked if she had needed to go to the toilet but had said no. Now she was regretting it as she wet her pants on the bus into the city. She was 7 years old and she remembered watching the commercial for pull-ups and remembered being fascinated by the diapers for the big kids, although she had never needed them before then. She was 8 and her last remembered wetting accident at night. She remembered the look of disappointment in her mother's face as she shooed her into the shower. She was 9 and remembered wishing she was a baby again. She was 15, only a year before coming to the X-Mice, and she remembered looking at websites which told stories about people wearing and wetting diapers for fun. Then she found herself sitting on Yaffle's couch with him wearing an expression of sorrow. He had now seen Madelyn's secret desire and her darkest memories. She couldn't help but blush. Madelyn, I am deeply sorry, he said as Madelyn became aware that she had in the space of an hour wet herself twice. That was my fault. I have touched the equivalent of a psychic nerve with this as a response. I am also sorry that I have viewed your thoughts so thoroughly. It appears that you are reacting to the shock and any probing will result in all related ideas of wetting being thrown up. It is entirely my fault. So what's wrong with me? Madelyn asked, praying that it wasn't something major. Absolutely nothing. You are perfectly healthy. Madelyn balked. She had hoped for something more than that. Then why did I? She let her voice trail off. Nothing psychological. After you get changed, I suggest having Storm give you a medical. This could be some sort of prank. Nightcrawler. Madelyn fumed when she caught up with Charlie. He was dead. It may be. Then again, it may be down to your changing body. I am also going to make another suggestion. One you may find strange. What is it, Professor? I think you should wear some protective underwear to bed. Just until the psychic wound heals. But you mean? Unfortunately I do, Madelyn. They are located in the medical supply cupboard. Do not worry, nobody but myself will know. Madelyn sunk through the floor to the medical bay.